speech today on behavior issues that I feel are more so than they used to be. So I'm going to start off with an example of some kids in my class. So we have this one little boy who cannot keep his hands to himself. So literally every second of the day, he is touching someone, hitting someone, and we're constantly having to speak to him. And we've talked to his parents about it, and they seem to be like, well, someone doing something to him. And we've explained to him multiple times, it's nothing happening, and it's just him being aggressive. And so parents are just not taking things seriously anymore the way they used to. And so that is where I'm going to start with this. My thesis is children get away with so much more today, and in some cases they even run the house, but things need to be done to get them back on the right track. So like I was saying, parents aren't acting like parents anymore in a lot of cases, and they let their kids just tell them what they're going to do instead of actually telling them, hey, we aren't going to do this right now. And so we'll have kids come in with like a toy, and we're not supposed to have toys in the classroom, and they'll be like, oh, well, good play, I'm not going to cause an issue with you right now, just, whatever, go on. So I've just noticed it more and more recently within the last few years, and like I know when I was a kid, that would have never happened. So, let's see. I have a quote from Ruth Feldman, and it says, in the field of child development, discipline refers to the methods of molding character and of teaching self-control and acceptable behavior. And so I have this little paper here, and I came up with some ideas of ways that you can or should not work with kids. So a lot of the times in childcare, they'll tell us to shadow. And sometimes it'll work because you can stop it, but then it's also not teaching them why you're stopping it. Like, you can't really explain, like, okay, you have consequences for this because you weren't doing what you're supposed to do. It's like, just don't do it. So they think that they can just keep doing it because there's no reason not to, because all they have to deal with is hearing you say not to do it. And that's not enough for some kids. And so we have some parents that will give them timeouts, and like you can tell the difference between the kids who are having that structure at home and who aren't. So I would suggest more structure in the home. And we also have a quote, and it says, corporal punishment is popularly believed to be more effective than other remedies if done in moderation by loving parents. I'm not promoting going home and beating your kids. I'm just saying you need to show your kids, like, there are boundaries, and you need to set those boundaries, and if those boundaries are crossed, they need to know that they are going to have some discipline for it, and it's not just going to be swept under the rug. I would like to give an example of kids that you just see out in public, like at Walmart. I know we've all seen that kid crying and screaming, saying, I want that piece of candy, or I want that toy, and the parents just give it to them. So that is promoting that behavior because they got what they want. So they think if they throw a tantrum in Walmart, then they're going to get something in return for it. And so you need to reward them for not doing that instead of rewarding them for doing it. So if you tell them, hey, if you don't throw a fit today, then maybe we might get a piece of candy. And then like they'll see that their good behavior was the reward and not throwing the tantrum. And so Exodus 18:20 says, and you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk and the work they must do. So basically, you should set your boundaries with your children at the beginning, not wait till they're 4 or 5 and be like, oh, maybe I should do something now. Like, you should start it before it becomes an issue. And that's it.
Very good.